The Niger Delta region of Nigeria is the storehouse of the country's crude oil, which accounts for a huge chunk of our revenue, providing more than 90% of total exports. Despite being blessed with black gold, the Niger Delta people remain poor and marginalized, resorting to militancy as a way of expressing their grievances. The conflict situation has persisted for decades, with kidnapping of oil company workers, bombing of oil facilities being common occurrences. Welcome to Standpoint. I'm Ibrahim Shita. And I'm discussing this in the studio with a former caretaker committee chairman, Asari Toro Local Government Area, River State, and the national leader, Kengama Unity Forum, Honorable Sobomabo Jackridge. Also in the studio is former National Secretary General, Ijo Youth Council Worldwide, and President, Ijo Young Entrepreneurs and Investors Network, Bristol Alagbaria Emmanuel. Thank you so much for coming on the Standpoint, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Now let's try to, for the sake of those who probably will be keen into this agitation, or let's say we'll be hearing this for the first time. Let's start by refreshing our minds on the squabble over the oil field OML 25. What really has transpired so far?
Well, the OML 25, a cause of the agitation is because the Shell Petroleum Company itself that is operating on the field has deliberately ignored to develop the community around the OML 25. I mean the host communities. We have the Kola community, we have the Ingege, we have the Ofayama, and the Belema itself. Now, instead of building on their corporate social responsibility, which is the criteria for every IOCs, when you operate in a community, you also have to develop the community. You also have to impact on the community. Now, for over almost 40 years, rather, the community has been there with Shell, but nothing to show off. Instead, they go down, they are more in abject poverty. Everybody knew Kola and the Kalabari Kingdom as people that are fishermen, more fishermen. And today, the oil exploitation there has brought the aquatic life to nothing. So for the people to survive becomes very difficult. And that is why the people were saying they want the attention of the company to come and develop them. But the failure of the company in developing them after decades, that was what informed the community to go to the field and shut the place down for about 2 years now.
2 years now.
Now, after shutting the place down, they believe that the company, the Shell, will do the needful, in trying to correct the anomalies in the mistake they have done. But they failed, and instead they decided to divest the facility to another company, which we perceive is their cronies, Cresta. Now, if you look at the processes in which the Shell Petroleum Company is operating, what they are doing is, we call it
you may use another word just to explain it. So when it comes to you.
Well, I'll come there. So now what happened was that instead of doing the needful, they prefer to go behind to give it to another of their crony. When the community itself has a son or companies that are experienced in that field, because the likes of OML 55 is being handled by a son of the soil, a company from that area called Belema Oil Producing Company.
While OML 25 is being handled by Shell.
Yes, it's being handled by Shell.
It's a license given to Shell.
Yes. Now, this OML 55 has been able to impact on the lives of the people of Edama and through other parts of Kalabari Kingdom, including the Kola Kingdom.
Okay.
So the people now are surprised to see that between 2 years, if a company can come and have impacted so much on the community, They prefer that same company to take over the OML 25
Right.
instead of going out to someone they don't know.
Okay, let me go to Bristol Alagbaria. You've really given us the background to what will set the conversation for us, really. But I learned that the state government brokered peace between the host communities and the oil company, OML 25, Shell, SPDC, and this peace was sealed with the signing of an MOU. Is that correct?
Yes, that is what we read over the news, and we heard from the state government and other stakeholders. But I'm not from the community, but I was involved in the process when I was National Secretary of Ijoyi Council. That was about 2014 to 15. I knew too well that there was a time that one of the DIGs or so invited the Belema oil producing company. Invited the communities, representative, the youth leaders, the women leaders, and the chiefs.
Right.
And also one company called Crystal, because during the divestment, the asset was divested to Crystal. And in the course of that, because we were, as leaders from Ijoyi Council, we wanted peace. Because in the course of agitation, the youths are the victims. They're the ones that will go for agitation. So we're part of the process to ensure that everything goes on smoothly. To my greatest surprise, there were striking revelation there that I felt so bad. Now, the issues are this. That Crystal Oil that this asset was divested to was incorporated 2013 as a new company with no technical expertise at all. And you know,
Let us try to get it very clearly.
Yeah.
You know, he mentioned SPDC, which is Shell, Petroleum Development.
I'm going somewhere. I'm trying
Okay.
to also.
You really want to hasten on that.
So Shell divested that investment,
Right.
because they've managed it for close to 40 years.
40 years.
So they are divesting because they are going deep offshore. All the swamp investment they have, they are divesting to indigenous companies so that they can equally participate in the process. So the Crystal Oil that won the bid, that company was incorporated 2013 with no technical expertise at all.
I remember asking you that because we learned as newsmen that the state government brokered peace between the host communities and the oil firm, and this peace was sealed with the signing of an MOU. Is that correct?
Yes, from the account that we got, because I was not there, from the account we got from the government, of which the people that went there never disputed it too, that they went into an agreement. But I also do not know the terms of the agreement and what must have transpired after the agreement that made them to renege from the agreement. But what we're saying is that NNPC, because this matter lies squarely with NNPC, because they're the ones that issue licenses to prospective companies that should operate their facilities. So now, the communities, they are agitated, they are scared because of their previous experience with Shell. Just like what happened in Ogoni. The Ogoni never wanted Shell to come close to them at all, and you cannot force Shell back to Ogoni. Right? They must look for a way around it. What concerns the federal government is that as long as that asset is functional, the government is making money. Who operates it is inconsequential. The person must have capacity. And you know, part of the government's program, even Osibanjo, when he came to Niger Delta region, during the agitation, when the Avengers were exploding pipeline, when he came for fact-finding, he also came to restore the confidence of the people of the intention of the federal government. And I clearly knew that because I was in some of those meetings. He said that they want to ensure that host communities participate equitably. And that even one of the demands that IOCs that have their head offices out of Niger Delta, but they have the operational facilities in Niger, should relocate. So now the company that are saying that hiding under that promise, they have an indigenous company, Belema Oil Producing Limited, that has done very well. He is currently managing OML 55, and the communities in that environment, they have benefited.
Your point has also been established. It has been established. Honorable Saboma Jackridge, let's get something really clear here. Are you demanding that the DMOU entitlements be paid, or you simply don't want the oil giant to resume operations?
Anyway, the GMOU entitlement is not the cause of this present issue here.
Okay.
Because before
No, because
now,
it's part of it.
yes, before now,
okay.
over years, Shell has refused to pay. There are some debts that the Shell that we are supposed to pay the communities over years. Now that is on a different platform. Now, but the community fear is that Shell coming back is as if bringing them back to where they were before.
After its closure, over
Yes,
2 years.
yes. And that the community says that even though the federal government or the NNPC have given license to Shell, they have the right to approve Shell, even why? Because they are the hosts. If they say their fear is that they cannot accommodate Shell again to come and begin to bring them to the path they have they have moved past
away from, yeah.
before now, because the Belema Oil Company has proven competence through the OML 55 that affected even the Kola people and other parts of Calabar Kingdom. And so for him, that is why they are making the case for this company that instead of Shell should divest this investment to this Belema company, who is an indigenous company, who have proven competence, who is there to,
But then you're saying this, the SPDC said about 2 months ago that it has spent a total of 17 billion naira on 19 GMOU clusters in Rivers State to embark on projects covering health, education, water and power supply, sanitation and infrastructure development. So what happened to this project?
That is
Where
what I
this
was
situated?
trying to tell you. I said what they play is divide and rule game. Now, there are some actors behind Shell's activities. Shell should state clear, or you as a news person, you people can come down to the Kola Kingdom to verify to the catchment area to see exactly if Shell has done anything to prove even
Their
just
presence.
500 million their presence in that communities. If not the fact that God brought this company, God-fearing company from nowhere, from the blues, to begin to impact in them.
Now you said divide and rule company. I'll come to you. You said divide and rule. The company in question, Shell, has been operating for, let's say, more than 40 years now in your communities. How come this has now become an issue suddenly? Shouldn't you really question your relationship between, or the relationship between your leaders, those who are representing you, and those who are speaking with your relationship between your leaders and Shell itself? Why is it that this whole thing is coming up now? You said divide and rule, and one of the challenges that they brought up was that if non-GMOUs are negotiating on behalf of the community, yes, and the GMOU itself, which Shell brought in 2006, worked according to them. So why should we be having this agitation?
Now let me give you an example. In Cotton Channel, still in Calabar Kingdom, in Cotton Channel, Shell was also operating there before Shell divested the facility to Eroton.
Okay.
Now, a GMOU whereby it is the government and that decides which one who amongst the people to attend such meeting. The government will not leave the people that has very clean interest to prevent or to protect the community into such meetings. For example, they just had a meeting of DA3 cluster in the government house. I am a key stakeholder in that area.
Okay.
But I was not informed, I was not invited.
That there will be a meeting.
I wasn't invited, even when I was around. Now, they won't do that because if I were fortunate to be there in that meeting, I will ask questions. And perhaps that questions won't go well with the government. And it will look like an anti-government question.
Honorable Soboma, are you saying the chiefs, women representatives, the youth, men of Belema, Ofoyama, engaged communities in Akokotori Council were not involved in the meeting that they had?
No. I'm trying to tell you why I said divide and rule.
Okay.
I said divide and rule in the sense that the Shell, the top officials of the Shell,
right,
now will compromise with some leaders,
from your own community,
from the communities, few governmental, people in the
right,
government,
right,
have an understanding with them. Now, instead of doing exactly what they are supposed to do, perhaps behind, paying that, proceeds to these particular persons, and yet they will come and count it as if they are developing the community.
Okay.
When the community does not
made your
feel
point.
anything.
You made your point. How do you think this thing can really be solved? Because the matter, they say, is being handled by the presidency and is currently before the office of the vice president for dialogue, negotiations, and peaceful resolution. What exactly do you think should be the way forward?
It's simple. It's simply hearing to the cries of the community. When a child is crying and be pointing one particular area, it is maybe his mother or his father is there. Mm-hmm. And so the community has seen Shell as a snake. And they are not ready to identify with Shell because of the experiences they have gotten in the past. Their son, you can see, look at the coincidence. The Belema Oil, the chairman of the Belema Oil, or the founder of Belema Oil, is from that community that is producing this, that is owners of this Omega 25. Right. And you are telling such person who is from that community and has the expertise, who is a professional, not to own that facility, but rather you divested it to some other companies.
Honorable I asked you earlier, yeah. Because it is also very important to answer this. You know, it's very easy to say these people are not really doing, they are reneging on their promise. Yes. But as your own community, giving these oil companies a level playing field to peacefully operate in the first instance.
Yes.
Because you also cannot deny the fact that there was this kidnapping, militancy, arrest in Niger Delta, which has affected the peaceful operation.
There is no way it will be when somebody from that particular place is owning it and is coming to do same thing that Chrysler or Shell will do for the federal government to operate and to develop that area. There is no need for kidnap or...
Okay, probably because now light is really shining on this. Maybe because you are not interested in anyone from the outside owning these licenses, that it has to be an indigenous person.
When Bristol spoke here,
probably that is the reason why the agitation
is going down. Shell are giving out all their strong investment. They are going deep offshore. They are going deep offshore.
Okay. They want to concentrate just like Chevron and Total that are all operating deep offshore.
In Delta State, in Warri, precisely, Shell, there is no presence of Shell again. They have divested to all indigenous companies. Okay. So why is it difficult that Shell ordinarily divested this company, this facility to Chrysler? And why are they coming back instead of doing exactly what the community wants if they don't have an ulterior motive?
Okay, that's it. So what is the position of the state governor or government on this particular issue? Well, because earlier, about 2 months ago, there was this 7-day ultimatum that was given by the governor. So how did it...
If I can help you on that, let me clarify something from that. You see, the state government, when they invited the chiefs and elders of those affected areas, I can remember vividly that the king, even in his interview, stated clear that before every signing, he told them that what he is signing is not because they want to, he's permitting Shell to go open the facility. Why he's signing this is because they actually have an GMOU and that Shell should pay them their standing entitlement. And that was the reason. But of course, it's a government. The government has a press. You don't have the right to do anything there. Whatever the man says was not recorded. But the only side that were recorded were the areas that are favorable to the government and that will captivate the minds of the people in the outer world, saying that he signed a memorandum of understanding. Right. Whereas he stated clear that he is a king, yes, but he's ruling over people. And the people has the right to decide what is better for them.
Okay. So how are you weighing on this matter? Is,
okay, my own position on that.
No, I'm going to put it in your mouth so that you talk in that line.
Yes,
I think it's
concerning the government. Yes. I want to speak
because the government also regulates the activities of these oil miners or those who are given licenses. So why don't you just also talk to the government, relate to the government more, and table your demands, and this is what we really want, so that the government can do it in line with what will benefit the people and their communities.
That is what we intend to achieve as young entrepreneurs from the region, because one, that Belma oil is like an example, an inspiration to young business people. Business are dying every day in Niger Delta, and even the government, they've also challenged us that we should come up with capacity that they're willing to work with us. So which means that In this negotiation, the government, they have critical role to play in the final decision. Because the government decides who, and according to the laws, our laws, it favors the government. So now the Rivers State governor has a major role to play. Nobody is an island of its own. The community cannot, by mere agitation alone, succeed in this struggle. Whatever thing that comes in, the Rivers State government has a role to play. So we're going to see how we can interface with the Belema company itself, interface with the community as young entrepreneurs, and also with the government. Because one, they must all agree. We know that solution does not come at the first meeting. There must be constant discussion, engagement, and re-engagement. People must continue to talk. The conversation must open. But I know that for a permanent solution, all the parties must come together and agree.
Okay.
Both the government, the Rivers State government will play the pivotal role in driving this process.
Yeah, that's a point. We are coasting home, Ambassador Honorable Soboma Jackridge. Is this particular agitation peculiar to your own communities? You know, talking about the Belema of Foyama, Geje, of the Akuku Toro Council. Is it peculiar, you know, looking at it from the Niger Delta region?
It is.
Why is it so peculiar to those particular communities?
Because they are communities at the riverbank. They are very, you know, they are outside, far from the Calabari area. They are all Calabari people. They are all Ijaw people. But because they are operating from the, from the deep side of the Calabari area, it is not as peculiar as you're saying. It is similar. Because I told you about that trade. And I told you how they are deliberately victimizing the people of Calabari Kingdom and the Bakana. You can imagine where the Calabari is made up of 3 major communities, and it's a smaller villages. Right. And the agreement, the same GMO you are talking about was that the 3 leadership will go around, in all the communities. Now, Buguma has produced the chairman. Right. Bonima has produced chairman. When it's time for Bakana to produce the chairman, another influential person from the same government, the present secretary to the state government, influenced it. We use this connection to make his own son or his own brother to take over that position. Instead of going to the other community. Now, after that, the 3 communities we are to be signatories to the account. But as I speak to you, Bakana is not a signatory, does not know the account that company is operating, that 3 cluster is operating on. Only for us to be to hear from the news when the company, the Eroton, confirmed to the state government that they have spent on the cluster over 3 billion naira.
But this has not forced these communities to take up arms against.
There has been petitions, because what we are doing is legal, due processes. Right. We are following non-violent ways to, tackle issues. Okay. But there have been petition upon petition by the community.
Okay, that's
and yet the government will decide not to hear. Now the meeting they called for that 3, this other chairman came on board trying to speak, even when the governor confirmed that he has been seeing his text messages. Right. He refused him to speak.
Right. Okay, so we just have to go, and then we are wrapping on this particular note. Are you looking forward to the passage of the PIG bill with the hope that this would put paid to all of this crisis?
Well, the petroleum industry
just
bill
in a nutshell,
is critical, but just that, there is huge economic politics that is playing out that will make it not to see the light of the day, except the interests of Niger Delta people and those communities entirely expunged before the parliament will pass it. Now, the petroleum industry bill, not the governance bill, initially accommodated the interests of the host community because they bear the brunt. Okay. But that also stirred up agitation from other regions that were saying that we have received too much. Okay. And that killed the passage of that bill. And we don't know, but I know that the federal government should look at the interests of the host community, or else agitations might still be going. The country is highly polarized. There are agitations from different places. Okay. And I tell you that anyone that comes from the Niger Delta will be seen as legitimate. And we don't need it.
Your point has been made. Thank you very much, Ambassador Honorable Soboma Jackridge, also known as Igberi Papa, former caretaker chairman, Sari Toro local government area, River State, and national leader, Kigama Unity Forum. Thank you so much for coming. And also Bristol Alagbari Emmanuel is also the president, Ijo Young Entrepreneurs and Investor Network. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you,
on
very
Standpoint.
welcome.
And that's it. A wrap on Standpoint. Enjoy your weekend and also your festival. I'm Ibrahim. Bye.